It's time to lift. The athletes are hyped, music's going, the energy's high. But before they can train hard, they've got to warm up. You hand them a list of warm-up drills, mobility here, activation there, and before you know it, you glance up at the clock. Half your session is gone. What happened? Where did all that time go? And now the athletes are unmotivated, dragging, not even excited to lift anymore. We all know the warm-up matters, but how long should it be? How many exercises, reps, or rounds do you actually need? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the Core 4 movement prep, a simple system I developed to help coaches get their athletes ready faster, so they spend less time warming up and more time training. Let's be real, athletes want to train, not warm up, but many coaches still believe you need 20 different drills and a full hour just to get loose. That's not a warm-up, that's a workout before the workout. This happens because coaches don't have a system. So instead of being strategic, they try to do everything. Band walks, hip mobility, skips, push-ups, planks, hoping something works. But when you don't have a framework, your warm-up becomes a catch-all. You end up spending most of your time getting ready to do the things that make athletes better, instead of actually doing the things that make athletes better. Sound familiar? The solution isn't adding more. It's systemizing what matters most. You need a framework that streamlines your decision-making and gets every athlete ready to train, fast. That's exactly what the Core 4 movement prep does. Before we jump into the Core 4, we have to understand what the body actually needs in a prep session. When we look at the body from a system standpoint, we can break it down into 3 major joints that drive almost every athletic movement: the hips, the shoulders, and the spine. Each one of these joints needs to go through certain movements to perform at its best in training or competition. Let's break that down. Hips, flexion and extension, abduction and adduction, internal and external rotation. Shoulders, flexion with external rotation, extension with internal rotation. Spine, rotation and flexion, extension. If we can hit all of those movement patterns efficiently, we can get the entire body primed in a fraction of the time. No fluff, no wasted drills. Now that we know what the body needs, let's talk about the 4 movements that hit it all, efficiently and effectively. These are your Core 4 prep movements: walking lunge, plus hip airplane dip or bench dip cable, lat pullover or KB pullover, standing KB windmill. Let's walk through each one. 1. Walking lunge plus hip airplane. This one movement checks almost every box for the hips. Here's how it works. Step forward into a lunge. From there, drive the back knee up into a high knee position. Then hinge into a single leg RDL, keeping balance as you rotate the pelvis out and in. That's your hip internal and external rotation. Then drive the knee back through and repeat with the next step. This single sequence trains hip flexion and extension, hip abduction and adduction, hip rotation, all in one smooth athletic movement. That's efficiency, that's return on performance. 2 dip, bench dip. Next up, the shoulder and extension and internal rotation. We'll use a bench for this example, but a dip bar works great too. Place your hands behind you on the bench, shoulders down and away from your ears. Knees bent, weight slightly forward. As you lower, keep shoulder tension. Only move 4-6 inches. Hold and breathe at the bottom. That's your end range shoulder extension under tension. Exactly what most athletes lack. 3. Cable lat pullover. Now let's hit shoulder flexion and external rotation, and even prime the spine for extension. Stand facing a cable stack with a rope attachment. Hinge at the hips until your chest is almost parallel to the floor. Arms straight, pull the cable down to your shins, keeping the rib cage tucked in a crunch position the whole time. That constant tension trains the lats while reinforcing proper shoulder mechanics and trunk control. It's simple, controlled, and effective. Exactly how a warm-up should be. 4. Standing KB windmill. Finally, we train spinal rotation and stability. Press a kettlebell or dumbbell overhead. Keep your feet planted and the KB locked out above the shoulder. Then slowly rotate your torso and reach your free hand down toward the floor, keeping your hips as still as possible. The goal is controlled rotation, not range for the sake of range. This lights up your obliques, lats, and deep stabilizers, the muscles that tie your upper and lower body together for explosive power. So if these are the only 4 you need, where do all those other mobility drills come from? Simple. Every other prep exercise is just a variation or subset of these four. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to understand the purpose behind it. If you want more on this concept, check out my video, The 20 Exercises That Actually Make You Better. It dives deep into how every movement connects back to a few core patterns. Now, how do you use this in a group setting? When you're training teams, you'll always need slight variations, and that's okay. You might have one athlete doing a bodyweight dip, another using bands, and another doing a push-up plus. The key is understanding that each of those drills connects back to one of the core four patterns. Once you understand the system, you can make smart adjustments for injuries, mobility limitations, or time constraints without losing the purpose behind your prep. Every drill has a reason. Every reason ties back to readiness. That's what makes your warm-up system driven, not random. So there you have it. No more wasting time with 20 random warm-up exercises. The Core 4 movement prep system gives your athletes everything they need to prime the hips, shoulders, and spine in minutes, not half the session. Remember, athletes want to train. Your job as a coach is to prepare them, not drain them. Streamline the process, stick to the Core 4, and you'll get athletes training harder, faster, and more consistently than ever before. If you found this helpful, check out the rest of my systems-driven coaching series and grab the Athlete Buy-In System book bundle in the link below. And remember, systems drive success. See you next time.